So drugs are not bad. We are bad. Society's bad. It's on us, okay? So, sorry, this conversation is probably going to get a little bit too emotional for people, and I'm sorry for that, but I just feel like this is something on my heart I have to talk about. So I just wanted to, say that right before we jump right in, so let's just jump right in. Thank you. Like, subscribe. We all know a drug addict. We all know drugs are bad. We know drugs that ruin lives, probably end up killing you. When I'm talking about drugs, I'm talking about hard drugs. I'm here to say that it's society's fault that people are doing drugs. Drugs aren't inherently bad. They aren't. That's a common misconception with normal people. When they see somebody who's on drugs, they ascribe judgment to that person, saying that they're bad. That's not the case. Drugs are just a thing. They just do a thing to you. They're being used for a purpose. When I was at work one day, I figured it out. What the purpose is by people who are perceived as drug addicts, essentially, they just want to create a barrier between themselves and their environment that they're in, that they're unhappy with. Because that environment is just so unbearable that they just don't want to feel it anymore. You know what I mean? They don't want to feel the pain from their environment, and they don't want to feel it. And that environment is called American culture, or first world culture, you could say. I feel like this context is a lot more, I feel like the context I'm talking about here is a lot more productive in the grand scheme of the conversation. I feel like it's super important that we take it into consideration when we're talking about drugs and drug addicts and stuff like that. So, like, I think the Vietnam War is the best way to illustrate that. I'll put a link to a paper I read, or like a source. People love sources and stuff. I don't really care. Like, you can just go Google that stuff, but just having it nice prepackaged for you, I guess that has some validity here in this video. So my Vietnam example illustrates this point perfectly, is because when it was like 1 in 5 of them or something in Vietnam was doing drugs and stuff like that, heroin and smoking weed and stuff, and they were worried about this huge, like, from the drug research they were doing, they were worried about like a 20% of the population just being immediately addicted to the hardest drugs, heroin, that you can get your hands on. But when they return home, it's something like 95% of them never got re-addicted. This is a perfect indicator of why I'm right about it, because their environment of having to kill people in the jungle with all these centipedes that are 12 feet long trying to eat them too, while they're all getting shit on by their commanding officers, going, they didn't want to fight. The Vietnam, from what I understand, was a war that nobody wanted to fight. So, like, that's the proof in the pudding right there. I mean, if you take that piece of logic and you apply it to all these, like, every single drug use case, I'm sure you can nail it down to a similar situation where I'm saying, like, my premise is that you take a drug to create a mental barrier between you and the environment that you don't like, whether it be like a super judgmental family from a drug school scene where everybody hates you, your jobs where everybody's it's a crappy job and your manager treats you like dirt and nobody treats you like family, or any shred of respect or anything like that. I'm pretty sure 10 times out of 10 that I'm going to be correct for it. Like, whatever, you know what I mean? So this idea that drugs are inherently bad is destroying our country, because you're only reinforcing the problem. Like, you're making it so that person just feels even more isolated, because now they've stumbled into the drugs to try to, they use it as an experiment, and now they're in this rabbit hole that they can't get out of, because, from a legalistic point of view, the government wants to come after people like this. They want to come after drug users and put them in prison, and then when they reoffend, they just keep chucking them back into the system. And then when you get chucked into the system, you can't get jobs, and you have this inherent distrust from society, because society thinks that you're a criminal because you're breaking the law, when you're just trying to medicate yourself. You're just trying to create a barrier. You're trying to protect your feelings, because for whatever reason, you were dropped by society, and society doesn't care. You didn't fit a certain mold. They just chuck you to the street. They chuck you to the grinder just to get eaten up, and just, like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares in this country about anybody else. Like, you got your family and your friends and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like, from what I've noticed from people around me and from what I'm seeing from trends on the internet and stuff like that, like, nobody actually truly cares about each other. We're only concerned with ourselves. And it's like, if we can't face this problem head on and get it taken care of, we're going to be destroyed as a country. We are so divided, so against each other, that we cannot do anything. We cannot do anything anymore. We can't, like you got old people saying that, like, young people can't even do menial jobs and stuff like that, because why would they? Why would they want to? This country sucks. Everything sucks. Everybody around us sucks. Like, everything in this country sucks, and more people would probably be on drugs if they, like, had access to them or something along the lines of that. Like, we all do drugs, just in different ways. Like, there's people doing hard drugs and stuff like that, but then there's people who are addicted to video games. There's people that are addicted to porn. There's people that are addicted to, like, shorts, and there's people that are addicted to McDoubles, and there's people that are addicted to beer, and there's people that are addicted to sex. There's people that are addicted to all these things, and it's just all the same problem. You know what I mean? Like, drugs is just, like, one representation. The only reason why we notice it is because it's illegal, and these people get chucked in prison, and because they get chucked in prison, they stick out like a sore thumb as a problem in our country. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the opioid crisis. Like, the opioid crisis isn't even, like, a crisis. When you look into it, from what I remember, it's about, like, people who were prescribed drugs, because they had gotten into injuries and stuff like that. But using the example from Vietnam, they get prescribed drugs as for pain management to deal with injuries and stuff like that. And either, there's cases where they're not healing up, whatever, because they're not doing the physical therapy or something like that. They'd rather just rely on the crutch, but they probably have shitty lives. And they're just like, you know what? This takes the edge off that too. So I want this to keep treating that. So maybe they milk their injury a little bit longer. Essentially, that is like what it's boiling down to. So what? You know what I mean? Like, so what? I have solutions. I got answers to most of these problems. It's just listen up. Just listen up. Listen to me. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is stop stigmatizing drug use. Stop looking down on people because they're doing drugs. Yes, people who do drugs do shitty things on top of that because, yeah, the drug, they go too far. They go too deep down the rabbit hole, and then they start they start doing drugs more and more, and then they stop. They're in this new magical world where they're like they have no responsibilities and stuff like that, and then they let things go, like taking care of their families, or going to the jobs, or showering, or eating, or anything, like depending on the drug they're doing. But stop judging people. Stop judging them for doing drugs because they have crappy lives. Just look at their lives. That's why they're doing the drug. The other thing we need to do is push the advocate to like make drugs legal. I don't even know where to begin to do that because like I would need such a large platform to shout from that people would actually start taking me seriously, so that we could actually make movements into our crime and stuff like that. And you could argue all these details and facts about how drug use causes more crime and stuff like that, and that's how we could justify to make drugs illegal and blah 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 blah. Like, but those. Oh my God, those are like 50 other problems that I could tackle, it could nail down. But I'm talking about drugs right now. But we need to decriminalize all drug use, like possession and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying like just to like wipe the slate clean. We need to roll it back slowly, okay? So like if we just in some way in this world take the system and make it so that we're not just like flushing the toilet on these people and just like tripling down on their bad decisions and quadrupling down on their bad decisions and just like guaranteeing that they have no chance for survival in this country, that would 25% of the problem's gone right there. If we just figure out how to stop people like cycling through the drug system and stuff like that. Because like if you have a case where you're just, I'm a pill popper, let's say I'm a pill popper or I'm a crackhead or something like that, I just smoke crack in my house or something like that. And then like the cops come and pop my ass and put me in prison for 5 years for possession or something like that because I got like I don't even know the like grams or whatever would get me in jail for 5 years. I served my time in 5 years. I come back out and now I'm broke because I 5 years without earning anything, even at a minimum wage job. Now I'm 5 years behind like everybody. I went to college, but I didn't even get a degree. You know what I mean? Like you're screwed. You're already starting off screwed. Okay. Now also too, you go to apply for these jobs and stuff like that. They're legally not allowed to discriminate against you, but they are. They are. Everybody is. Plus, when people start finding out you went to prison and stuff like that, all of a sudden you start getting isolated, put back into a box where you have no support system. And as soon as you have no support system because we're social animals, you're gonna fall off the wagon. You're gonna go back to that. You're gonna go back to get that barrier again. You're gonna get the barrier again so that you could fucking just feel good. You know what I mean? And is that such a bad thing? No, I would say no, it's not. So whatever. That being said, now I'm screwed. You know what I mean? I'm screwed forever. One mistake. You're a felon. You can't vote or something like that, and you can't like own a gun. You can't do a bunch of stuff. You're just screwed. And that's all just because it's illegal. Okay? So that's because it's just illegal in the form that it is right now. That I'm not hurting nobody else. I'm doing crack in my house, and now I'm put in prison, and my life is ruined forever just because I smoke crack. Okay? That is yes. If I'm stealing catalytic converters off people's cars, I should probably go to prison for that. But I'm saying, like, just for the inherent ownership of a substance that is potentially only going to harm me if I consume it in the four walls that are my own house, I should not go to prison for that, ever. For whatever reason. That's just ridiculous. And we need to change that. And then on the other hand now, we need to start tackling culture in society. And adults need to start telling kids to stop fucking bullying each other about every little stupid thing. Because then you start bullying young. Then when you start growing up, you're going to start bullying as an adult. And then you just rinse and repeat and compound that fact. And then you're just going to start judging everything that are different from the normal people about. And one of the largest things that we judge each other for? We judge criminals. We judge criminals. We put them in a box when they are the other. They are the enemy. So you know what I mean? Like as a just on a societal, cultural scale, we need to start aggressively putting people in their place when they go to just judge orders, whatever. We need to return to a moral system where we empathize with other people. We start putting them up and we start forgiving each other. And it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with your family. If somebody in your family is talking crap about somebody else who smells bad in your family, you tell them to shut the fuck up. You tell them to shut the fuck up, and you love each other, because that's what you're supposed to do as a family. We're all humans. Doesn't matter what, like, different color, whatever, like, paths of walk we come through. We all deserve, like, well, okay. I walked into some weeds there. We all deserve to die at the end of the day, but that's an entirely different conversation. But all of us are equally pieces of shit. None of us should be judging each other for anything like that. And even if we are pieces of shit, we should still be cooperating and like empathizing with each other and loving each other, or else we're not gonna get anywhere. You think we came out of the mud talking crap about each other? You think we were in the jungles fighting against animals, like to establish, trying to figure it out, like invent society? Do you think we got here by like talking shit, just murdering each other? No, it wasn't until we all decided morally that these things are wrong. XYZ is wrong. Slavery is wrong. All this stuff's wrong. Judging each other is wrong. You know, all this stuff. It wasn't until we started adopting moral principles that we started evolving as a country. So why the hell are we regressing back? Why do we think at any level that like judging and bullying is going to help anybody? Because we're just making Vietnam. We're making Vietnam on different levels all over our country. And until we stop doing that, we are never going to stop seeing these crazy things with like mass shootings or drug deal or, you know, opioid crises and all these other like homelessness problems and stuff like that. Because who the fuck, you know, more and more people are going to wake up and go, wow, this is shitty. I have to work my whole life to barely get anything. Why would they participate in that? Why would they participate in that? We're making such, like, we are game makers. You know, everybody is a game maker in their own regard. And we need to treat people with respect and such so that we create a game that's worth playing as a country. And it's all on all of us as the culture, as a society. Yeah, you can't just opt it all out to the government because the government sucks at everything. I'm sorry to say. But I'm gonna try to reel back my emotions here because this is a pretty sensitive topic for me. But I'm just saying we just need to come together. We need to come together and just do those two things. The key takeaways for the discussion on drugs in society is like, what can you do today? Is just look at somebody, even if they're a drug addict or something like that, and just look at that as a person. And you'd be surprised how much that would help. Saying good morning, saying hi, smiling at them, you know, I don't know, wishing somebody a good day. I don't know, just looking at someone and smiling at them will make a world of a difference more than you know. Somebody who hasn't had like a shred of human decency done to them in years. What do you think? You know what I mean? And personally, this conversation should never stop. I mean, I don't know. In conclusion, what I want from this video, if anybody's watching this, what can you do if you care or anything like that or whatever? I mean, like, just get up, walk to the mirror, look yourself in the face and say, I'm a piece of shit and I'm going to stop being a piece of shit. I'm going to try my best to do better. I'm just going to do better. You know what I mean? Like Mr. B says for making YouTube videos, just try to make a video, focus on one thing and just do better. Just do that every day. Do that every day. Just try to be better, you know, and this would be a good thing to focus on is just like, to start trying to pull people back, reel back people, because we need to stop letting people go, man, because I'm sick and tired of our country just being such a piece of shit and we're only going down the toilet. We're slowly going down the toilet. I needed to get this out. I needed to make more videos like this. And sorry, this is super awkward and stuff like that, but I just don't know. I want to tackle hard issues in our country. I want to tackle things. I want to lead. I want to help. And I know I got answers for this stuff. Like a lot of, and like, I don't know if this is going to help. I don't know if anybody's going to hear this or anything like that, but I just couldn't keep going on without making videos like a video like this because I got to try. So if you enjoyed that, whatever, I mean, thank you for listening and take it easy.